This just dropped, and it changes the entire conversation around this offense. On Super Bowl Sunday, while the football world is locked in on the biggest game of the year, the Chicago Bears quietly made a move that could shape their entire future. Ben Johnson has officially chosen his new offensive coordinator, and the name might surprise you. If you love Real Bears talk without the fluff, smash that like button, share this video with your crew, and subscribe right now because we're just getting started. Let's get straight into it. Press Taylor has been promoted to offensive coordinator. Yes, that Press Taylor. The former Jacksonville Jaguars play caller. The longtime Philadelphia Eagles assistant. The guy some fans immediately reacted to online with panic and frustration. And here's the first question we all have to ask ourselves. Are we judging this move for what it actually is, or for what it used to be? Because this is not a traditional offensive coordinator job. Let's clear that up immediately. Ben Johnson is not your typical head coach. He calls the plays. He installs the run game. He designs the structure. This is his offense. His vision. His identity. The offensive coordinator title in this system does not mean primary play caller. It doesn't mean the keys to the kingdom. It means trust. It means long hours. It means grinding film at midnight. It means building weekly defensive breakdowns and identifying tendencies the head coach doesn't have time to chart himself. Last season, Declan Doyle held this role. He was just 28 years old when he got the opportunity. Why? Not because he was some proven offensive genius, but because Ben Johnson trusted him. And now that Doyle has landed the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator job, Johnson has decided to elevate someone already inside the building. Press Taylor. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Things did not go smoothly for Taylor in Jacksonville when he was calling plays under Doug Peterson. The offense struggled. The momentum stalled. That staff eventually unraveled. But here's the part that matters. This is not Jacksonville. This is not that structure. And this is not that role. Taylor will not be calling plays here. So if you're judging this hire based on play calling in Jacksonville, you're evaluating the wrong job description. He's 38 years old. He spent 7 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles from 2013 to 2020. That run included a Super Bowl victory in the 2017 season, where he served as assistant quarterbacks coach. He was part of an offensive staff that consistently competed at a high level. He spent 2021 with the Indianapolis Colts. From 2022 through 2024, he worked with the Jaguars. Then Ben Johnson brought him onto this staff last year as pass game coordinator. Now he's being promoted. That's not random. That's not accidental. That's a head coach saying, I've worked with this guy for a year. I see what he does daily. I know how he prepares. I trust him. And in this specific position, trust might be the single most important trait. Think about it. This is a rare situation where the offensive coordinator's job is less about ego and more about support. Less about designing headlines and more about handling the invisible workload. Game plan cut-ups. Defensive breakdowns. Weekly film analysis. Situational prep. In-game booth communication. It's the kind of role where you need someone willing to grind behind the scenes, not someone demanding the spotlight. So the real debate isn't whether Press Taylor is a creative mastermind. The debate is whether Ben Johnson believes he can help him run the show. And up to this point, Johnson has earned the benefit of the doubt. Let's pause for a second. Question of the day, and I want you to answer this in the comments below. Should fans judge a coach based on his worst stop, or should fit and situation matter more? Because we've seen this story before. Eric Bieniemy looked like an elite offensive mind under Andy Reid in Kansas City. When he left that environment, the results were mixed. The system changed. The structure changed. Sometimes it's not about talent. Sometimes it's about fit. Coaches thrive in certain ecosystems. Players do too. You can struggle in one city and flourish in another. That doesn't make you a fraud. It means context matters. Ben Johnson understands that better than anyone. If he believed that what went wrong in Jacksonville was a deal breaker, he would not be making this move. He studied it last year. He studied it again this offseason. And he decided to move forward. That tells me everything. Now here's the part Bears fans should be excited about. This is a massive opportunity for Press Taylor. If this offense takes off, if the Bears become explosive, if the production matches the hype, Taylor's name will immediately resurface in play-calling conversations around the league. Declan Doyle was relatively unproven before landing the Baltimore job. Success breeds opportunity. And Taylor isn't even 40 yet. If this offense clicks, he could very quickly rebuild his reputation. That's how this league works. Now let's shift to another layer of this coaching puzzle. Because this move creates questions elsewhere on the staff. What happens with Will Lawing? Lawing has history with Ben Johnson going back to their college days at UNCC in the mid-2000s. He's largely followed Bill O'Brien throughout his coaching career and most recently served as offensive coordinator at Boston College. The Bears brought him in, but his role was listed as to be determined. Many assumed he might be in the mix for offensive coordinator. Now that Taylor has the job, what's next? Does Lawing slide into pass game coordinator? Does someone like Jim Dray, who has survived multiple coaching staffs, get elevated? Does Lawing take a position coach role? The running back's job is already filled. The tight end room is thriving. So where does he fit? Here's the bigger picture. When Lawing agreed to join the staff, there was likely an understanding that he would have a place in the structure. And if you're jumping from college back to the NFL, sometimes that opportunity matters more than the exact title. We'll get clarity when the full coaching staff is finalized. But the main takeaway. This wasn't a chaotic scramble. This wasn't panic. This was internal evaluation followed by internal promotion. Connor Sanger was another name some fans were intrigued by. He's interviewed across multiple levels. There's buzz around him as an up-and-coming mind. But again, this role requires trust more than upside projection. Johnson went in-house. He went with someone who already understands the system. And that consistency matters heading into a critical season. Let's bring this full circle. How do you grade the hire? If we're being honest, this is one of the hardest coordinator moves to evaluate. Because we're not evaluating a play caller. We're evaluating a support system. Personally, I'll give it a B. Not because it's flashy. Not because it's risky. But because I trust the architect. Ben Johnson has given us no reason to doubt his staff decisions so far. And until that changes, he's earned the benefit of belief. Final question for you. If this offense explodes next season, will people finally give Johnson full credit for building the right structure? Or will the narrative shift again? Drop your thoughts below. Super Bowl Sunday is here. The football world is watching the big stage tonight. But behind the scenes, the Bears may have just made a move that matters far beyond one game. The offseason is officially in motion. And this is only the beginning. At the end of the day, this move isn't about headlines, it's about alignment. It's about a head coach doubling down on his system and choosing stability over noise. If this offense thrives, this promotion will look calculated and smart. If it struggles, the criticism will be loud, and that's part of the territory. But right now, the message is clear. Ben Johnson believes in his vision, and he's betting on the people he trusts most to execute it. Bear down.